November 22nd, 2018. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 168 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So sometimes during my lunch, I will head up to Harrah's, Southern California, if I have some free play for that day. So I'll take a long lunch. It takes a little while. It's like a 45-minute drive just to get up there.
Right. Yeah, you take like a 2-hour lunch.
So really, by the time I get through there. So I have to make up my time at work at the end of the day. But I will only do it if it's really worth my while. And last Wednesday, it was, because not only did I have a free play coupon, but also free slot play by just putting your card in the machine.
Right. There was some bonus play.
Yeah. So, well, let me back up a little bit. So I'm sure everybody listening has heard about the terrible fires that we've had here in California. It actually hasn't affected us in our area. We've been lucky.
We've been very lucky this year, thank God.
Yeah. But we have had some winds, some Santa Ana winds, kind of feed these fires.
Right.
And so,
conducive to fire environment.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. So backing up now, I headed up last Wednesday and I park in the parking lot. I've got all my stuff, cut up my coupon. I'm heading in and I'm stopped by security.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you started a fire.
That would have been a better story, I guess, for a different podcast. But anyway, she comes up in her car and she says, "Oh, excuse me, sir, the property is closed." I'm like, what? Because, there were fewer cars in the parking lot. There's no question, but not enough to make me think, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, didn't look that weird.
No, and so she said, yeah, the power is out. So apparently, because of all these winds and everything, some of the power lines came down.
Well,
so the power
from what I
out.
heard, it didn't go out. SDG&E, the gas and electric company, turned the power off.
Oh, just for safety reasons?
For safety reasons.
Okay.
They said, the fire marshal said, no, we've got to turn the power off.
All right. Well, and you actually found out a little bit more information. I'll hand it over to you in a second. So, I'm up there. It's been like a 45-minute drive. It's like, okay. They won't let me in. And even if I went in, there's no power. Nobody could give me anything. So
right.
It's like, all right, back to work, and I'm thinking, well, maybe later when they're open, I can go up to Total Rewards and say, hey, I came all the way up here just for free play. What can you do for me? And sure enough, that's what happened. I went a few days later when they were open again, and they said, no problem. And
right.
They gave me, again, the free play for the coupon I had and for the slot play. The slot play was like some kind of mystery value with a guaranteed value, but it could be more. And
there
of course,
was a minimum.
Yeah, they only gave me the minimum, but
right.
Still, it was something.
It's good.
But then, you went up. And
I went up on, let's see, you were there on Wednesday. I was there on Friday.
And you actually
with my
asked.
family.
Yeah,
and I asked about it. I wanted to ask the lady. And they had told you, well, you might want to hang around because the power will be back on at maybe 3 or 4.
Well, they didn't put it that way. What she said was call back around 2 or 3 o'clock. Okay. I was up there right around noon, lunch hour. She didn't say stick around.
She just said call back.
She said call back to see if we're open.
But she intimated that it would be open later
maybe in a
that
few
day.
hours. Yeah.
Right. Well, when I asked the lady, she said it did not open until Thursday at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Okay, so
it was
well over 24 hours.
Well over 24 hours. And they had to evacuate everyone who was staying at the hotel.
Oh my gosh.
They all had to check out. And the lady telling me said it was a nightmare because everybody had to go to checkout at the same time.
Right.
And get in line and get checked out.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Imagine people who aren't from the area. Now, a lot of people stay there, but they live in the area and they just stay overnight because it's convenient. But what if you were visiting from LA or somewhere and you can't just go home?
Right. And I would imagine that Harrah's actually found other lodging for them. But even that takes a while, right? It's not like, okay, here's your voucher.
Right.
Go on your way.
That's not an easy thing. It's like when you missed your plane or it's delayed and they have to reschedule everybody. It takes forever.
Yeah. And, refunds and
right.
Oh my gosh.
And people who are upset who
right, you're dealing with an angry public.
Right, they're not going to be pleased no matter what. Yeah. I can't imagine what a nightmare that was. But I guess they got through it, and everything was fine on Friday.
Yeah, and again, they gave me my free play, so they made up for that. They must have lost a ton of money, just because the casino wasn't open for maybe 2 days worth. And
I should tell this story just because the reason I said you were going to start a fire. I don't know if I've ever told you this.
I've never started a fire, if that's your question. Right? I don't know where this is going. But
well, about a year, maybe year and a half ago, there were a series of fires on the freeway between Palm Springs and Los Angeles.
Okay.
Over the course of many months, there would periodically be a fire on the side of the highway.
Just right by the freeway there, yeah.
Right by the freeway.
Yeah.
And after a while, they saw this pattern developing. And it turns out they finally did make an arrest. And it was a guy who lived in LA, would go to Palm Springs to Morongo Casino and play. And every time he lost at the casino, he would stop somewhere on the way back and start a fire.
Uh-huh.
Not when he won, because they actually
he's in
had
a good
the
mood.
dates,
Oh, my
right?
gosh.
So when he was in a bad mood from losing at the casino, he would start a fire. Now, fires in Southern California are scary.
It's a big deal.
It's a huge
just
deal.
this whole past month, you can tell the whole state of California.
Right.
Yep.
You know, you could think you're starting a little fire, like you're going to cause a little havoc, and you could kill, hundreds of people
Absolutely.
or, billions of dollars of property and stuff. Anyway, I always think about that. Ever since they caught that guy and they had that story in the news, I always think about, what goes through somebody's head? I mean, how much did he lose?
That's right. We drive by. I haven't seen one fire on the ride home from the casino, and I know how some of those nights go for you, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to run the car over a cliff, but I'm not going to start a fire.
Now, the worst I've ever seen you do is order way too much food at Jack in the
Yeah,
Box.
I
actually see that a lot.
Yeah, I order way too much food. I get home, I eat it, and then I feel nauseated, on Sunday. That's my form of punishment.
Oh, God. Hey, remember back in the old days, in some of our early episodes, we talked about this smartphone app that we had.
Yeah.
And if you bought this app, you would get some bonus content. We did some separate recordings and did the bonus content. Well, we eventually stopped doing that because, we couldn't come up with a lot of bonus content. That was
number one. Yeah. Because we talked too much on this app.
Right. So, and we weren't really making any money on it or anything. And I thought, let's not even support it anymore. But every once in a while, somebody will say, hey, what happened to that app? And I'll write back and say, oh, we don't support it anymore. Other people will say, what about all that bonus content? You want to put it out in some other form or something. And I'm thinking, yeah, I should get around to that. Well, I'll tell you what you can do. You can still download an app that allows you to get all the same functionality as our old app, including bonus content, and it's all free.
Oh, that's nice.
So they don't have to pay anything for it. Simply download the Podcast Source app, available on iTunes, Google Play, Amazon. If you got an iPhone or an Android, you should be able to get this app. It's called Podcast Source. It's actually an app owned by Liberated Syndication, or Libsyn for short. They're our host for the podcast, right? And what you do, you open up the Podcast Source app and do a search on Yucamet on that. Then tap on our logo and then tap on episodes to choose from a list of episodes to listen to. And if an episode has bonus content, there'll be a little icon kind of on the bottom of the screen on the left side that looks like a present, like a gift with a bow on it. And you click on that, you get the bonus content.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's actually something that's been around for a while, and I should have mentioned it a long time ago. But
I don't know that personally would go to that much effort to listen to our bonus content.
No. But every once in a while, somebody asks. Yeah. And if you forget everything I've said right here, if you go to our webpage, yucametonThat.com, up towards the top, right above the social media icons, it says smartphone app. You just click on that, and it'll explain what you need to do.
Maybe we should make bonus content where we're just not nice and we're kind of rude about everything.
Yeah. You mean just basically the way we are when we're not on mic?
Right, exactly.
I thought of that, just putting starting the recorder in the car when we're going up and back. I don't think we'd have our clean rating anymore. I think we'd have to go to explicit on the content if we actually recorded in the car.
Oh, it's not that bad.
Oh, yeah. All right. Whatever you say, Dr. Mike. Hey, what do you think about this Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson thing coming up?
I have mixed feelings about that. I like Tiger Woods, and I love Phil Mickelson. Yeah. He's a San Diego boy. Yeah, he went to the high school next to my office, for God's sake. But it's just weird because they're not at the peak of their careers anymore. They're both still very good golfers, and they could win.
Oh, yeah, you've been going on all year about Tiger Woods coming back.
You know what I'd like to see? You know what would be better?
What?
Tiger and Phil pair up. against two of the very young guys, the up and coming guys.
Yeah, okay.
Right. And have a dual match like the old guys versus the young guys.
Maybe, but don't you? This is a pay-per-view
Now, I pay
thing.
to see that.
But I bet more people are going to pay for this than
You think
your
so?
suggestion, don't you think? Because this is like,
well,
it's kind of a rivalry.
It has
right?
been kind
So
of a rivalry. I'm not going to pay for it.
It's cheap. It's like, I don't know, it's like $15. It's not like a real expensive, like a prize fight.
I guess. I mean, what if it's lopsided? What if,
Yeah, it might be. I don't
Tiger
know.
kills him or Phil kills Tiger?
Are we going to?
I mean, anything could happen.
Are we going to bet on it?
Oh, we can bet on it?
I imagine so. Yeah, you can bet on anything.
Okay, Tiger -4. what would you bet on?
-4. So does that mean he gets 4 strokes, or you take 4? Is
4
that a
strokes
handicap,
away.
or is it a?
I mean, how do you bet on that?
I don't know.
What would you bet on?
I don't know. We'll
Just
look
straight up.
afterwards.
It's just money line. That's all they'll take. It's the
Okay.
money
It's
line.
probably just money line. All right. Do you have any other opinions about this very important event? The day after Thanksgiving, right? Isn't it? The
It's
Friday after
it's the
Thanksgiving.
Friday after Thanksgiving.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah.
It's in Vegas, so it's sort of within our
I'll
topics.
tell you
here.
what. I like the commercial because
I haven't even seen it.
Oh, the commercials, they show them when they're young,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
this big rivalry and everything. Now, they're both going to be out there with crutches and holding their backs like, oh, my back. Oh, my God, that took a lot out of me.
Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link towards the top of the page. All right, let's move on to our voicemail hotline segment. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512 wagers.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First up is Al.
Hi, this is Al from Michigan. Been listening for a while and just wanted to do a little technical report here. Went to a local casino here in Michigan, Firekeepers, on a Friday night and just went there to play blackjack. Me and the wife each had about $70. And we were getting down to our last $20 or so, and we noticed this older lady at the end of the table was betting the side bet, which was perfect pair. And I don't really bet side bets. I just feel like I'd rather use my money for more hands. But she was doing $2 on it, ended up winning 5 times within a matter of about a half hour, 45 minutes. So wife convinced me, and we started playing on that, and that ended up saving us. And together we hit it about 5 times the perfect pair, and we were just doing $1, so we ended up buying in for about 150 combined and left with 200 combined. And by the time we knew it, we've been sitting there for 6 hours and hadn't moved at all, and that was fun getting up. But yeah, I just wanted to call in and let you guys know it was a fun time, and I guess side bets aren't always that bad of a deal. Thank you.
Yeah, you must love that call.
I do. I love it. I'm thinking to myself, I hope people realize sometimes, you got to make this side bet.
Look,
I mean, sure, you're going to lose in the long run.
See, that's the thing. Now, I have seen you many times
Right.
have a winning session only because of the side bets.
Exactly.
All your money has come in. So I've
Right.
seen it happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, I'm still...
Many times you've said that,
Yeah.
Rich, your own words.
And I, of course, again, we always say, play in a way that you have the most
Right.
fun. And so I would never criticize somebody for making a side. Well, I'd probably criticize you
Right.
for making a side bet. In fact,
That's
I'm sure I
different.
would.
That's different. I mean, I never make any hard way bets for you.
Yeah, that never happens. But in the long run, yeah, just keep in mind that, it's going to drain your bankroll. But yeah, it's
and if like Al and his wife sit down and they said, hey, we have $150 combined here. If we lose it, we're fine with that. It's no big deal. And they have a little fun making side bets. I say make them,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Sure. Maybe you get lucky and hit something big and you go home really happy. And if you lose now, if you lose your 150 and you're digging and, next thing you know, you're out $1,000, that's a different story.
Sure. Yes. Yes. All right. Let's hear from our buddy, Dr. Taylor.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Taylor from New Mexico. So after we had breakfast and played $10 of Keno, we went to the sportsbook bar at Green Valley Ranch. And as we were sitting down, there was a little confusion as to where we're going to sit. And I said, I'm not doing this again. You pick where you want to sit. So Tara sat in one and I sat in the other. And as you know, I hit another royal. And Tara's very happy about it. Say,
Yay, happy.
that's Tara happy. And we also won $4 off that $10 Keno, so I'm happy about that too. Thank you guys. Bye.
Taylor, you stole another royal flush from Tara.
Yep.
I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah. Wow. Boy, this relationship is getting rocky.
It's tough. It's tough.
Getting rocky.
Taylor, he actually tweeted to emphasize they played some Keno.
Right.
He actually tweeted about it, like, what should I do? How should I play this? And he ended up playing $10 worth. When he said he won 4, he got $4 back.
So he lost.
So he lost 6.
Okay.
But he won some back. He still felt good about that. So
Yeah.
just wanted to be clear that that's what happened on the Keno.
I don't know that that's life-changing money on Keno.
No, but it keeps you busy while you're waiting for your steak and eggs.
Yeah. Oh, you need that.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I wish regular restaurants had Keno. Just like Denny's here. We could go to Denny's and we could just play California Lottery Keno.
There are some places that have it. If you find like a bar or something that actually sells lottery tickets too,
Right.
you can do it. But I haven't seen that in a long time though. It's not. They don't call it Keno. I think they call it something else. But it's basically Keno, right? And so,
I mean, they should have that everywhere, like at a Denny's. They should have it in line at the supermarket. For God's sake.
We don't really lament about the days gone by so much, but yeah, I wish there was a lot more Keno in Vegas, just at the restaurants where you
just
play.
at the restaurants.
Yeah,
all the restaurants have gone more upscale, and so we can't have Keno. We're upscale now.
Yeah.
I don't care how upscale a restaurant you are. Giada's at Cromwell should have Keno.
It should absolutely have Keno.
Giada should come out and call the numbers.
That's right. All the runners should look like Giada with their little Keno outfits coming out. Yeah. All right. Next call.
Hey, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Jim from North Dakota. I'm sitting in the waiting room while my wife is having a root canal in preparation for our Vegas trip next week, and I thought of you guys.
She needs the root canal to prepare for a Vegas trip?
Yeah, and I wonder, did he think of us because of the Vegas trip or the fact that she's getting a root canal?
Yeah, it sounded like she's getting the root canal to prepare for Vegas. I never go to Vegas unless I have a root canal.
That's right, every time. It's the traditional root canal, pre-Vegas root canal.
Yeah, that takes the pain away from Vegas. It can't be any worse than the root canal I had.
That's right. Gee, did you lose on the slots? A ton. But I had a root canal right before. That hurt.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out that when Dr. Mike makes his inevitable trip to No Craps, Minnesota, that he's more than welcome to come across the border to North Dakota, where we play real craps with real dice at the Indian casinos. And not only that, he could then take advantage of our pig wheel that you mentioned before, and he can place his bets on either the boy pigs, Joe and Bob, or the pink girl pigs, Sue and Roxy, or the white pig Ken. The only problem is he can't jump back and forth between those games because the craps is in the Indian casinos and the pig wheels are in the bars. Anyway, love the show. Thanks for having it.
Yeah, you going to do that then at least?
Yeah, it's funny because every time we are in Minnesota, we talk about going to North Dakota.
Are you close to the state line?
No,
okay.
No, it'd be a drive.
Okay.
Okay.
Right,
It'd be quite a drive from where my mother-in-law lives.
Okay.
However, we always talk about that. We's like, well, if we're here for a week, why don't we drive, I have not seen Mount Rushmore.
Really?
My wife has seen it many times,
okay,
and I have not.
Well, now that's South Dakota.
That's South Dakota. I know.
Okay.
But I'm like, let's go into the Dakotas because, everyone tells me how beautiful it is and stuff. Mm-hmm. So one of these days we are going to do that, and I am going to play Pig Wheel, and I am going to go to the casinos there. And while I'm there, I'm going to complain that South Dakota State University is SDSU.
Oh, I know. That messes us up because here we call San Diego State University SDSU.
Yeah, we always say, when's SDSU play? And when I look on my app, it's like, gives me 2 SDSUs.
Yeah. Yep. All right, up next is Keggers.
Hey guys, this is Keggers from Southern California, soon to be Southern California, with a Vegas trip report. We stayed at the Link, and I don't think I've heard anybody report from the Link, so I want to give a quick update. Link is great, great location, easy to get cheap rooms. We got 3 or 4 nights free, and it was a pretty decent place. Rooms were nice, small but decent. And the gambling was pretty good too. It was busy the whole time we were there. Even on like a Monday morning, there was a lot of craps tables full. And so they kept the minimums at about $10 the whole weekend or more. But that's not too bad. Amenities were pretty good. Restaurants were nothing to write home about, but I thought their sports book was pretty nice. They have a interesting setup with couches and multiple TVs per each couch section, and you can play Xbox and do some other things as well. So that's pretty fun. A couple of things. We broke even on the weekend on craps, so I had a successful weekend all things around, but played for 3 days and did a lot of sports betting and ended up even for the weekend. So that's a successful trip. Two things though that I thought were notable. I'm not superstitious like you guys, except when I am. And I counted at least 7 times when people would buy in the middle of a roll, even decent rolls, and the literal next number was a 7 out. And that happened 7 times. I was keeping track, and I'm sure it happened, where the next number wasn't a 7 out numerous times as well. But that did not do my superstitions any favors. That was kind of frustrating, especially when you're on a good roll and people come in and buy in for, $40, $50 or something and play the field, and the next number's a 7 out. So that was pretty annoying. But again, it ended up okay. The other thing is we went to MGM Grand for a couple hours on a Monday afternoon, and those were by far the worst dealers we had all weekend was at MGM. And I'm sure it was just a bad luck and just had the wrong dealers at the wrong time. But we had 5 dealers over the 2 hours that we played with, and none of them smiled. None of them were friendly or engaging or anything. All of them seemed like wanting to be somewhere else. And that really turned me off with MGM. And so didn't have a great experience there. And again, I'm sure it's just wrong dealers at the wrong time, but those were by far the worst dealers that we played with. Everybody else, Caesars, Cromwell, Link, Harrah's, every other place we played at were fine, at least okay, if not better. So that's it. Definitely, we're moving to Southern California in a couple of weeks. So Harrah's Southern California will be my new home base. So I'm looking forward to playing with you guys sometime in the future, and love the show. Thanks.
Nice. Okay.
Nice,
We're looking forward to seeing you down here then, Keggers.
Let me tell you something, Keggers. At Harrah's, Southern California, and this was, I don't think it was last Saturday, I think it was the Saturday before. I don't know if you remember this. Some guy walks up to the table in the middle of a pretty good roll, decent roll, buys in for like $500 in the middle of the roll.
I do remember this, yeah.
And then proceeds to make like a $12 bet on 8 or something.
Right.
Something ridiculous. I mean, he bought in for 500. I'm thinking, okay, he's going to go, 150 inside, or because why in the middle of the roll?
Right.
Makes like a $12 8, and you call your bets off because he threw money down on the table like you always do. And I'm like obstinate. I'm like, no, that's just no, I don't believe it. And sure enough, 7 out. And I sat there, and inside, I mean, literally fumes coming out of me because I'm thinking, if he had made a big bet or something, or, he just had to get in that role, I kind of understand because that might be me. But, give me a $12 8.
All right, look. That didn't cause the 7 to come up. And you're
know.
looking, well, Mark, why'd you turn your bets off then? It's like, well, I've talked about it before, right? It's just to limit my exposure to a negative EV game. And,
Yeah, and the casino doesn't
yeah, they don't turn me off for that role, so I'm still getting a good rating.
You're getting a good rating.
Plus,
that's what it is.
Plus, and
you're limiting your exposure, and you're still getting a good rating because the casino thinks, oh, well, he's just a little superstitious. He just turns them up for a roll.
Right. Yeah, that's just smart gambling.
Yeah, I'm going to start making a stink every time you do that. It's like, turn him off. Don't give him any rating for a while.
And I've got a super big grin on my face because it has helped me so much recently. It's come up so many times.
This last weekend, it was unflippin' believable. I am not kidding. It had to be like 90% of the time, right?
It could have been on this particular session,
this
right?
This last Saturday, it was unbelievable.
Well, Keggers, you said it happened 7 times. That might be interesting if you could tell us out of how many. Because it was like 7 out of 42. Well, that's not all that interesting. But if you kept track of the times where a 7 didn't come out after a buy-in.
Well, who cares about those times?
Okay, all right.
I'm only pissed off about the times it does come out.
I understand. We haven't been to MGM Grand for some time. I'm trying to remember the last time we played there. So that's too bad to hear about the dealers.
The last time I played there, I think you rolled a bunch of 10s.
Oh my gosh, Mike, that would have been 20 years ago. Yeah, that actually happened. I rolled a bunch of 10s, probably as many 10s as 4s came up that time we hit
Yep.
at big at Caesars, but
Right.
we just weren't
We
betting
just
it.
weren't betting
Yeah,
it.
but it was probably like 9-10s or
It
something
was
like
9
that,
or
yeah.
10-10, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I do remember.
Honestly, I think that was the last time I was at
Mike,
MGM Grand.
That is probably true for the two of us. Now, I know I went with my mom and my sister when they had that Lion Share machine there.
Oh,
Remember that a few years
right.
back?
Yeah, I did not go
But
there.
I didn't play any craps or anything. We
Yeah.
were just passing through. So
Yeah.
it's been a while.
I guarantee that's the last time I went.
Wow.
That's how long ago that
Well, it's
was.
too bad to hear about that.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear from Robin from Anytime Gambling.
Hello, gentlemen. This is Robin from Anytime Gambling. I have heard numerous little tidbits on your show that I just thought I'd call and comment on. And I've got quite a few little things here that I just want to mention. And then you can take them for what it's worth. For the MGM Springfield call, yeah, I agree with you. The military offers are important to take advantage of and offer from any casino. Foxwoods has an ongoing weekly military offer as well in New England. And if Dr. Mike really wanted to get to Springfield when he comes to Boston, I might be able to help him out with that in terms of the driving.
Yeah.
I'd like to
There you go.
plug Art in the
Thank
Game.
you, Robin.
I'd like to just plug Art in the Game. Chris DeMoro does a great job, and he has Springfield roots that are really deep. He has a great understanding of the history of the town as well as what's needed from MGM Springfield. So I strongly suggest that people listen to that. The MGM Springfield poker room is very comfy, but it's also small. Craps, I concur that they have the all tall, all small. The only other craps bonus in New England is the fire bet at Mohegan Sun. Foxwoods has recently lowered the odds from 10 times to 5 times. MGM has incorporated more blackjack and more video poker, but the blackjack is 6 to 5 unless you're playing $25 and up. High dollar bonus is only $5 denominations. There are no single dollars. You had talked about Highlight and Greyhound racing, and I just had a couple questions for you to think about. But we had Highlight and Greyhound racing here in Connecticut before the mega tribal casinos in 1992. Before that, it was just Highlight and Greyhound racing. And I used to visit that. Those were my beginning gambling events. Highlight we had in Milford, we had it in Hartford, and I would go at times, and there was a rumor that the first 4 games were basically planned, and sometimes you could really tell when they would put the scoop up and barely made an effort to actually get the pelota. But the middle games were always up for grabs, and then the end games were kind of like hinted on who's supposed to win at this time. So that's just a rumor I used to hear, but from the way they played, sometimes I just had to believe it. And I just have a question for you. The Greyhound racing has been banned in Florida, and we had it up here in Plainfield, Connecticut. And I'm just wondering how you feel. Do you think that the horse racing is next to be looked at in terms of not good for animals or harness racing or anything of that point? What do you think? Because I know you have some big racetracks out there in California. All righty. That's all I got, but I hope you guys are safe and everything's fine out there. Great podcast as usual. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Robin. I've always been torn when it comes to horse racing.
Right.
I suspect that at some of the bigger tracks, the horses are probably treated fairly well. But I don't know. Some of these lesser tracks, I just, I don't have any proof. I just don't know. You hear
Well,
stories
at bigger
every once in a
tracks
while.
with horses that bring in lots of money,
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you they're treated well because you've got a horse that's worth millions of dollars.
Mhm, sure.
And, you're not going to treat it poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think a trainer or a stable jockey or whoever, is taking care of a horse probably treats them well.
Mm.
Now, for me, the bad thing is, they can get hurt racing.
Yes.
Just like anything else. I mean, a football player can lose his life playing football, right? And, horses can get hurt horse racing, just they don't have a choice.
Well, they put them down. A lot of times when they're
Right.
hurt, they break a leg or something.
Yeah.
They kill them. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
for humane
that's-
reasons.
Sure.
But I mean, the horse doesn't have a choice that it wants to be a racehorse.
I don't think anything's going to happen within the next few years or so, but say 100 years from now, horse racing might be gone.
Right.
And
it'd
maybe
probably
that's
be
a good
virtual,
thing.
some kind of virtual racing.
It could be, right? Something
right?
like that.
Something, high tech that we can't foresee.
Now, when it comes to greyhound racing, I'm happy that they have gotten rid of it
Right.
in Florida because that's a whole different thing.
Right.
Greyhounds. And I think it's pretty safe to say that they are not treated that well. And when they're done with them, who knows, there's some horror stories. So,
right.
yeah.
Well, when the dog can't win anymore or is not, race worthy, what do they do with it?
And it's a shame because greyhounds are great dogs.
Right.
They're actually great pets.
Right.
So
They're very good pets.
Yeah.
But, it's just, how do you get rid of them? There's so many of them, right?
Yeah.
And they breed them like that.
Yeah.
So horses, I'm like you, I'm mixed, but
I'm glad to see the greyhounds.
I
gone,
do
yeah.
think most horses, at least I want to believe
well, of course.
that most horses are treated pretty nicely.
Yeah. And then, Robin was talking about Highlight. Again, we talked about how they've got it in Florida still.
Right.
We're not saying that anything untoward is going on there, but there's the potential for it.
There's a lot of
right?
potential
so,
for it.
that could be happening.
Robin was talking about the military thing. Did you notice that Harrah's Southern California RainCon on Memorial Day weekend? Memorial Day was actually on Sunday.
And of course, you're talking about Veterans Day.
Never mind. Yeah. Did you notice that on Veterans Day, which was actually on Sunday, but celebrated on Monday, they had 2 free buffets for all military people?
Oh, yeah. I did not see that, but I'm not surprised.
Well, they had a sign up.
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
Okay,
they had
good.
a sign right in front of the buffet that if you had, military ID, retired or active, you
good.
could get 2 free buffets.
Nice.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's good.
That's
I'm glad
very
to see
nice.
them do that.
Yeah.
And then Robin talked about Art in the Game, that podcast that is exclusive for Springfield. And we talked about it on the last show, too. So give that a listen for sure. All right, next call.
Hey, guys. This is Adam from Connecticut calling. Just want to touch base with you on a couple of things here. I'm going to be going to Atlantic City for the first time in January for a couple of days with MGM coming to Springfield. Started to reap the rewards through their MLife program. They're offering me a couple of comp days in January. So I'm going to be headed down there. I'm just wondering what your guys' picks for things to do are. I'll be staying at the Borgata, definitely hitting the poker room and the sports book when I get down there, and of course the craps table. One thing I hear you guys talking about a lot is asking for comps at the table. This is something that I've never really done, and I'm just curious, what is the least awkward, I guess, for lack of a better term, way to go about asking for something? I'm not big on asking for free things, but if it comes down to a meal being paid for or something like that, I'm not necessarily above it. So do I ask at the table or do I pull the pit boss aside after I've played for a few hours? What kind of tips do you guys have for that? Another question I have for you is, what do you guys do to keep your minds occupied if it's going to be a little while before you can get to the casino? Ever since MGM opened, I've been going up there about once a week, most of the time playing poker, again, craps, of course. And by the time I get back there again after Thanksgiving, it will have been about 3 weeks just because of my work schedule. I'm an ER nurse, so my schedule is a little bit crazy at times. So what do you guys do to occupy your time and occupy your minds with things that aren't necessarily casino related, but can kind of scratch that itch a little bit for you? I've met up with a couple of friends and we just make some stupid prop bets at bars with each other. And that's kind of done it for me, but I'm just curious what you guys have done in the past. All right. Hopefully I'll talk to you guys soon, and I'll definitely be calling you with a trip report after I leave Atlantic City. Thanks. Bye.
I see you laughing there. I was talking to my wife about this too. It's like, what do we do to keep ourselves occupied between casino visits? I know it's hard.
It's hard if we go like every other day. It is still hard.
And I saw, well, we do stuff like I'll text Mike. Okay, here's a roll.
Yeah, he texts
3, 7, 8. Oh my gosh.
We do that. We text each other rolls of craps. We sports wager.
Well, that's kind of our new thing too. So we're
Yeah,
doing some
it's a-
sports wagering.
it's a sports
so
wagering.
I'm tweeting or I'm texting you back and forth.
And
about,
I'm checking
how
the
it's been.
scores all day to
That's
see,
right, to see
are they
how
going to
we're
go
doing.
over or under? We bet the over. Come
That's
on.
right,
Come
that's
on.
right. I mean, listen. Obviously, you listen to podcasts, so that's another thing too. You don't have as much of a commute as I do because I take my son to school in
I
the
have a
morning.
little
so,
tiny commute,
Yeah, so
yeah.
I'm in the car a lot more. So I listen to and boy, you talk about there are a lot more podcasts than when we started for Vegas and gambling and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of laughing because he's talking about how do you keep your mind occupied. And you know how my mind works. I mean, we get in the car the other day to head to the casino. I'm telling Mark, you know what's wrong with Star Trek? The transporter just cannot function. That's just
I have told you forever that that's the biggest problem with Star Trek is the transporter. They had it on the show because they were trying to save money,
right?
But really, it's way too powerful.
Yeah.
You could be on a planet. We'd just be sitting here doing our podcast, and suddenly somebody just beams us up. We have no control.
Right. I'm in the shower thinking about that in the morning before we go to the casino thinking, yeah, it's stupid transporter.
So, Adam, that's one thing you could do is just think about Star Trek.
Yeah, or any other stupid thing you want to come up with.
You know, we've got a weekly poker game. I don't know if that's something that you could do. I know that's hard. It's hard to get people to commit.
It's very
to,
hard.
especially to weekly or even a monthly game.
Right.
But that's something you could do. Any other suggestions, Mike? Because I'm thinking about this too. We're just
a lot of times, I mean, when I'm at work and for whatever reason I don't have a patient and I'm just in my office and I don't have any paperwork to do, which doesn't happen that often, and you haven't texted me anything, sometimes I just sit there and think, I'm going to try and think of a new strategy. I'm going to try and think of just something different that I can do this week when we go.
Well, I'll be sitting at my desk sometimes and a software build is going on. There's really nothing else for me to do. So I've got a deck of cards there.
Right.
I'll pretend this is an Omaha hand.
Yeah.
Or I'll say, oh, hey, I saw this new game at the casino. Let me, deal out a few cards and see.
Well, get yourself 2 extra large wooden dice.
Okay.
And then roll them on your desk when you're sitting there. That's what I do.
Or down the hallway. That's what I'll do.
I just put them on my desk, and I'm sure that out in the front, they're like, what is that noise? Clunk, 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 clunk. Oh, 7 out.
Doctor? Are you okay?
Getting it back to is asking about comms.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you play for a decent amount of time,
I'd say
even like 45 minutes.
I was going to say like an hour, but okay, yeah.
45 minutes or something. When you're coloring up, the pit guy's usually there to look, right? And then just say, oh, can I ask you something?
Yeah, that's a good time when you're actually coloring up or you're about to leave.
Right.
To just call, oh, can I? And Adam was asking about the least awkward way. I'm kind of like him. It's kind of awkward for me anyway, too. It's like,
you just say politely, I would just look at the pit boss and say politely, say, oh, did my play qualify me for any kind of...
Yeah, just kind of ask.
Like
don't demand it or expect it. Do you think we get a couple of buffets? Something like that?
Do you think my play qualified me for a couple of buffets?
Yeah,
or
the steakhouse or whatever.
Yeah, and they'll tell you.
Yeah,
but I don't think they mind that at all.
No, again, it's going to depend on the personality of the pit boss that you're dealing with. But I like that suggestion of when you're coloring up, because then you're kind of standing there not really doing anything. You're just waiting for them to count up the chips.
Usually, if you've played for a while, especially if you played for an hour and you're coloring up, they're going to give you something because they think, well, this guy plays.
Yeah.
Right? He wasn't a hit him and run kind of guy. He didn't come here for 10 minutes.
You do see that. You can see guys where, okay, I'm going to make a $500 no 4.
Right.
Right. And then it wins. And then, hey, how about a buffet? It's like, come on. I can't.
Right. But if you played for a while, they'll give you a buffet.
Yeah. And be prepared. It depends on what you're asking for, too. He may say, well, I can't give you anything to the steakhouse, but I can get you something for the coffee shop or, whatever.
Right. Well, that's usually, for us, that's all we want is like, give us something to the coffee shop. We want to get a quick bite and get on.
Yeah. As far as Atlantic City, we haven't been there in a while, but for sure, check out the, Ocean and Hard Rock that just opened. But yeah, good luck on that trip. Hey, look, we've got another call from Taylor here. I didn't see this. Let's see what he has to say.
All righty.
Hey, this is Taylor from New Mexico calling again. We thought about it for a day, and I think we figured out how Dr. Mike can hit a royal flush. In May, when you guys come for Vegas Vacation 8, Dr. Mike should take Tara to a video poker bar or whatever, the bank of video poker machines. And before you sit down, you have a little awkward confusion about which one to sit, and tell Tara to pick one, and you sit on the other one. And Dr. Mike will hit a royal within 15 minutes.
Huh.
So far, it's like 2 for 2, guaranteed. Anyway, thank you guys. We'll see you then.
Good. Yeah,
that's good advice. I think I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to feel guilty and give it all to Tara. So I don't know how that's going to work.
He's talking about 360 Vegas Vacation 8. Yeah, we've heard that Vegas Bun Boy is going to be coming over for that event.
Nice.
So yeah, I think we're going to have to go to that.
Yeah,
so
I'm going to have bobbleheads made.
Really?
Yeah,
bobbleheads. To give to Bun Boy, so he can put Bun because his statue apparently broke.
Right. I'm going to give him a bobblehead, a Dr. Mike bobblehead.
That's good.
My daughter was talking about making one the other day. way.
Well, shoot, for my birthday, my sister made me one.
Right. Yeah,
So,
we got to get
let's do
bobbleheads.
that.
Everyone should have a bobblehead.
Yes.
Think how
Made
much nicer the world would be if everyone had their own bobblehead.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Yeah.
Speaking of royal flushes,
All right.
my wife has had such incredible luck at video poker lately. She is going to hit one soon.
You always, it's been so good. You just let her play your free play, right?
I don't even play my free play anymore.
Yeah.
I save it up. I give it to my wife. She comes to the casino and plays. I mean, what, in the span of like 15 hands, she had a straight flush and 2 4-of-a-kinds
there you go.
in like 15 pushes. It's like she does not lose at video poker.
Okay, so she's got one coming.
I mean, maybe she's sucking all the video poker luck out of me at night when we're sleeping.
Doing what now? Hey, you ready for a movie gambling scene? We haven't done one of these for a while. Let's have a movie gambling scene or a gambling. I'm not sure. I can never say it. What makes sense? Gambling movie scene? A movie scene where gambling is the theme.
Yeah,
See,
it's
even
too
that's
long.
not quite
It's
I swear to
awkward,
God.
yeah.
Well, this last week we lost a giant in the comic book industry. Stan Lee passed away.
Right.
And really, as far as the general public goes, he's the only household name of comic book creators. You know,
Yeah, for general public.
right?
Yeah, if you
people
don't
who
follow comic
right,
books,
right.
I mean, my mom knows who Stan Lee is,
Yeah.
but she doesn't know very many others.
And one of the reasons people know who he is too is because he usually has a cameo appearance in the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. You know,
Right.
he'll just show up in some little silly thing. It's usually funny, you know, that kind of thing. So, well, Black Panther from earlier this year was no exception. Stan Lee had this small role in it. Now, this scene that we're about to listen to takes place in a casino in South Korea. You can't tell from the dialogue, but T'Challa, aka Black Panther, has just approached CIA agent Everett Ross, who is playing at a craps table. Now, in the clip, you'll hear them kind of arguing about what each other's doing at the casino, and it's not really important to the clip. But while they're talking, Black Panther puts a big pile of chips on the don't pass. Well, Black Panther walks away from the table just as the dice are thrown, and they come up 3. So he's won on the don't pass.
Right.
Agent Ross kind of calls out to him saying, oh, hey, you won, but Black Panther, he's long gone. So Stan Lee, who's another player at the table, has an idea of what to do with Black Panther's winnings. So let's listen.
Agent Ross, Your Highness, you are buying from Claw. What I'm doing or not doing on behalf of the U.S. government is none of your concern. Now, whatever the hell you're up to, do me a favor, stay out of my way. I give you Zemo. Didn't I keep it under wraps that the king of a third world country runs around in a bulletproof catsuit? I'd say we were even. You really need to leave now. Claw is leaving out that door with me. You've been warned.
3 crabs.
Yeah, you won.
You know what? I think I'll just take these, bring them over here, and hold on for safekeeping.
So just a quick little clip there, but there's Stan Lee.
Yeah. Oh, he was a great guy.
Yeah,
Stan
he's a
Lee.
lot of fun.
You know, 3 years ago at the comic convention, when I was there, Stan Lee was just at a booth, right? Just at a booth. And people were just coming up and he was signing stuff. And he was so nice and so cordial to people. And, you know, he was in his early 90s then.
Yeah.
Right. And he was just, I mean, just like any other guy. And it's like Stan Lee and people just, you know, jaw dropping, you know, their Stan Lee. And he just treated everyone so nice. I was very impressed.
That's great. Well, yeah. So big loss. Yeah, he was very, very well liked. Well, let's see. You've got a Vegas trip coming up here that you're going to go on before our next episode, right?
So the end of the month.
So November 30th through December 2nd. So it's that weekend basically after Thanksgiving, right?
It's a great gift wrap-up giveaway.
Right, and you're going to be doing that?
I'm going to be doing that, and we're going to be staying at Harrah's.
Okay, so I will tweet on your behalf. That same weekend, a bunch of people are going to Biloxi.
Right.
And so we want to wish them good luck on that Biloxi trip.
Right.
Yeah. And then this last Saturday, Mike, you and I attended Al from San Diego's memorial.
Yes.
It was very emotional. There were a lot of people there. There was a kind of a Vegas nerds contingent. We took over one of the tables there.
Right.
And there were a lot of people there, friends and associates, business associates. A lot of people from
work,
his
from
office.
yeah.
Of course, it was sad. We had a chance to talk briefly with his father. To me, the most emotional part of the whole thing was when his dad got up and introduced himself as I'm Al's dad. It's just oh my gosh, it's just terrible. But anyway, we talked to Al's dad briefly, and he said to all the Vegas nerds, he said, "Thank you so much for what you did for Al, because when he would come back from a Vegas trip, he was just invigorated, And what were you saying, Mike?
He said to me that the last few years that Al was going to Vegas regularly, he could see a change in Al, that he was way happier than he had been before that.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, it's because you guys, because of the Vegas trips and stuff.
So obviously he brought that back to his family. So anybody listening out there, if you had any kind of connection with Al in Vegas, or even just online, talking about Vegas or any of that stuff, know that it wasn't just important to him, but it was actually important to his family.
Right?
Yeah.
And his work associates. I think, it's funny, and it goes to show how you can just, one little thing has like a ripple effect just through Al, everyone else, you're making other people happy.
Yeah.
So.
He was a great guy. Well, even when we were leaving, Mike, you said something to the effect of, gosh, we should all be more like Al.
Right, exactly. I stand by that. We should all be more like Al. The things that they said about him, things that we didn't know, right?
We saw just a small part of his life, right? Yeah.
We saw a small part of his life. And when you see the whole part of his life, when everyone talked about it, it's like, oh my God, why isn't everybody like him?
Yeah. Very sad. We're going to miss you, Al. Like I said last time, raise a glass next time you're in Vegas for Al. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Hey, we want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, recurring donations from Brian Dancer, from Joshua, and from Brian and Sarah. Thank you very much. Also, a donation from Mark. He says, for a golf scramble tournament with 120 guys, and to be the second to last to get a royal. So I guess everybody's getting a royal before. Yeah, that's right. And also from our friend Taylor, he said, for my royal and Tara's still future royal. So
she'll get one.
That's happening.
You know what'll happen?
Sure.
I'll sit next to her and I'll take her seat and she'll get the royal.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's going to happen.
That's what'll happen.
Yeah. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program that searches through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonThat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 951-2-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat and on Facebook at Facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. Finally, please go to your favorite podcast app and write a review on us. We love getting your feedback. At Al's memorial, we asked Hunter, said, hey, Hunter, you got anything planned for next October? Because that's when VIMP was and the summit. And, they didn't do anything this year. So we kind of said, hey, anything happening? And so he was non-committal. Got a couple of ideas here. And so
he said he wasn't being coy.
He wasn't.
He just really had no idea, but he had been thinking about some different things.
Yeah. So we don't have anything to announce here, but listen to 5 Honey by Midnight. That'll probably, if there is anything happening, they'll probably be the first ones to know. Right. So, all right. Anything else, Dr. Mike?
Well, I promised you last time that I'd say something important.
Yeah, it was like a Blockbuster. It was going to be. Yeah.
Well, it's not Blockbuster.
All right. Well, okay.
But I was thinking about this, and this is before we went to Al's memorial. And I had told my wife, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, why isn't everyone just a little nicer? Why is the world so crappy? Why can't everyone just be a little nicer? Just everybody be a little nicer to everyone else.
Yeah.
So I've decided my thing is now,
oh boy,
I'm going to be complimentary to people.
Okay.
So I don't know if you noticed, but this last Saturday at the casino, I said to the dealers, thanks a lot. You did a great job.
Yeah, you did. I did notice that. Yes.
And, if you do that and everyone does that just a little bit, then maybe that person will feel just a little bit better about their job and themselves. And maybe they'll pass that on to the next guy and he'll pass it on to the next guy.
Yeah.
And then after we went to Al's memorial, I thought to myself, why don't we all just be a little more like Al?
Yeah, let's all be more like Al. Yeah.
So here's another thing I've decided, and here's the blockbuster part.
Okay, all right.
Every time a shooter comes out on a 6, has a 6, I'm going to make a hardway bet for them.
Wow. There you go.
Whoever they are. It could
Yeah.
be you. It could be some guy I don't even know.
Yeah.
It could be some dope player I don't even like.
Uh-huh.
But if he comes out on 6, I'm going to make a hardway
Nice.
bet for him, me, and the dealers.
That's good. You're spreading the joy.
So, I'm always going to do that. That's going to be my new thing from now on.
Okay. Now, I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah, well, you should, because I'm going to do it. I mean, sure, it's going to be a $5 hardway bet,
Yeah,
but I'm going to do it.
All right.
And then some strange guy's going to go home and he's going to tell his family or his wife or something, yeah, this guy at the casino just made a bet for me for no reason. It was at the beginning of the roll. It wasn't like I was having a good roll,
Good.
and it's just going to be my way of starting a little kindness.
Nice.
So there you go.
All right. Well, sort of on the same lines. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. This episode is actually going to come out on Thanksgiving. Our Thanksgiving episodes tend to be our least downloaded episodes of the year, which is not too surprising.
Yeah, because who's listening on Thanksgiving? They're with their family and they're watching football.
But we want to thank you for listening. We
Yes.
appreciate it, and have a great holiday with your
we
family
should
or
thank
whoever you're with.
everybody, because we would not even be doing this if nobody listened.
No. Yep. It's
Seriously, the reason we come back every week is because we do this. I was telling you in the car, right? The perfect example, Marty from Northern California.
Yeah. Marty, we've never met in person.
We've never met him in person. I feel like he's a friend.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, seriously, every time he calls or he talks, I think he's just like me. He could be we could be best friends,
Yep.
but we've never even met.
Yeah.
So there you go. We're thankful for people like that. And we're thankful for all the other people who listen. And I was just in my head the other day going through the list of all the people I've met. Now, I don't remember a lot of the names, but I remember everyone's face and I remember something about them. And,
Wow.
and then there's the people that I remember their name because we've hung out with them.
Yeah.
And boy, it's a lot.
Yes.
I mean, it is a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So, they've touched me. So I hope we've touched them a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, not in a physical
Yeah,
way.
all right. This is kind of coming off the rails, but spread the joy, everyone.
Yeah, it's
Thank you, Dr.
Thanksgiving.
Mike. Yes. All right. Thanks for listening.
All right.
Mike, Mark, that was wonderful. I had no idea you were so talented. The audience is going to love you.